Right, for the last question of today, we're looking at a problem-solving question, and they basically want you to identify problems in each of these three branches. They sell cell phones, and they're telling you that, hey, each branch has a problem. They want you to identify one problem in each branch, quote figures to support your answer, and offer advice. And in the answer book, they provided you with this table, so you would fill in a problem for each with figures and advice. Okay, so I'm just going to talk it over really quickly. This kind of thing shouldn't be a problem for you. So let's look at the Paris branch. And immediately I can see very, very serious problems. If you haven't looked at the question before, I'm going to pause for a minute so you can look over everything and find the problem. So once again, if you didn't look over this question before, please pause the video now and try to identify problems. Okay, so well, now I'm going to give you the answers. So I hope you have thought about it. Okay, so the Paris branch. Immediately I can see, whoa, we had 440 phones for sale, but we closed with 330. That means we only sold 110. We have so many on hand. So that's one of the problems I can see, and you only need one, but I'm going to tell you all of them. I can also see that the markup percentage is 80% on, on cost. That is high. That is very, very, very high. Okay, that's a high markup percentage. And then, this goes back to what I said right at the beginning, is that sales is a very, very small percentage of our stock. So, and I'll show you the memo so that you can see how they've written their answers. You obviously need to provide these figures. So for example, if you want to say there's too much stock in hand, you need to say 330 divided by this gives us a 75 percentage. Okay, there's 75% of our stock still on hand. You need to talk about 80% if you say the markup is too high. And some advice for this branch would be, okay, decrease the markup, number one. Maybe we can have sales promotions. This way we would sell more phones and we won't have so many when we close. Or to order stock as we require. So maybe we receive new stock every month. But if we haven't sold phones in a few months, then we don't need to get more. So that's some advice. Now we're looking at the Pretoria branch, and I can see that, okay, so we sold 300 phones, and we sold each of these for 6,000 Rand. That means we should have had total sales of 300 cell phones times 6,000, 1,800,000. That's the amount we should have deposited, but we only deposited this amount. And what does that mean? That means we have missing cash of 120,000, the difference between what we should have had and what we deposited. So there's actual cash missing, and that's a big problem. Advice would be to check the money before we deposit it, or to have division of duties. That means different people in charge of the money. This decreases the chance of one of your employees stealing cash. And then lastly, we're looking at the Poth Adder branch. And the problem in this branch is quite different from the other two, in that we sold 280 phones, but we received orders for 400. We have no closing stock because obviously we sold more than the demand. And the problem here is that we don't have enough stock, or there's poor stock control. That means, we need to be ordering more phones, ordering more stock, or we need to decrease the number of orders we take if we can't do that. And no stock on hand, that means poor planning. And typical advice for these kinds of problems would be to maybe we could take stock from this branch. Remember, Best Phones and this owner owns all three branches. It's one business, different branches. So one of the solutions for this would be to take the stock from this branch because they have too many. So, or we can just order more stock, purchase more stock. So that's a wrap to our inventory or our stock question. I don't think it was too bad. There are some common mistakes which could be made in the weighted average calculation as well as this calculation. And the theory question is just a lot of thinking involved, but you should have it down. And yeah, that's 40 marks. So well done, everyone. Thank you for joining me here today, and I'll chat to you soon. Have a good day.